Okay, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all again. This is the last session in 6 days of FDP program. I welcome Shrinivasa Yeduri sir to join here and accepted our invitation. Just give me a few minutes. I will introduce him. Okay. Shrinivasa Reddy Yeduri received B degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, India in 2013. Then MTech degree from Indian Institute of Information Technology, Gwalior, India in 2016, and PhD degree with the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Goa in 2021. He has carried out his PhD work with Department of Electronics Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad, India. He is currently working as a postdoctoral research fellow with Autonomous and Cyber Physical Systems Research Group, Department of Information and Communication Technology at the University of Agder, Norway. His research interests are AI/ML in wireless communication and networking, computer vision, edge artificial intelligence, machine type communication, Internet of Things, LTE MAC, 5G MAC, optimization in communication, wireless network, power line communication, hybrid communication systems, spectrum cartography, spectrum sensing, UAV assisted wireless networks, small world networks, wireless sensor networks, social networks, and computer vision. So with this, I think sir has very good, very variety of background in various domains. So I hope this last session will give you much more understanding about this particular subject. With this, I welcome again Shrinivasa Reddy sir, and I would like to hand over the session to him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Raman sir. So, yeah, I will just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
I think it is getting visible. Just wait.
Actually, so I traveled to India just 2 days back, and I don't have a stable network now. But yeah, I will try to manage things.
Okay, it's fine. Network is, I think, fine because everything is fine.
Now, is it visible now?
Hello?
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it is visible. It is visible. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So, hi, all. Good evening, and welcome to this faculty development program on AI revolution from machine learning to generative AI. Thanks, Raman sir, for the brief introduction. I will just go with a small introduction myself because I will just elaborate more on my research areas, so that if any one of you are interested, we can go for collaboration also. Thanks a lot. So, yeah, as I mentioned myself, Shrinivasa Reddy Yeduri. I am working as a postdoctoral research fellow with the Department of Information and Communication Technology at University of Agder. I have been in Norway for almost 4 years after my PhD graduation. So this is my profile. If you are interested, I'm open for collaboration. You can contact me in any way. Thank you. And coming to my research interests, so most of them he has mentioned, which are brief on wireless communications. But there is one more topic also. It is smart sensing, wherein we actually have different sensors such as RGB cameras, thermal cameras, and LiDARs and MM radars. So we use them to collect the data. Okay, so then that data will be processed using machine learning. And also, in addition, we try to build a very low low memory sized machine learning models which can be deployed even in edge computing devices. So our motive finally is to deploy whatever the machine learning model that we develop for a particular application should be deployed in edge computing devices such as Raspberry Pi or NVIDIA Jetson Nano and Jetson Xavier and other edge computing devices. Because at the end of the day, whatever we develop, the machine learning, that should go into the market. So if you want to go it into the market, then we need to make it very small sized model such that it will be deployed in any of the devices. So, so we mostly work on similar lines. So without further delay, let's go into our topic, which is AI tools and frameworks. So to my knowledge, I grabbed whatever the tools and frameworks that are possible and that have been used by people and that will be used by people. So hope it will give some brief introduction as well as it will give some knowledge so that you people can use it in the future. So this is the agenda. I will talk about what are AI tools and why we need AI tools and what are the different categories of AI tools. Then I will also talk about the overview of popular frameworks. Sorry, I got throat infection after reaching India, so please don't mind. Please stop me anywhere if you feel to stop, so that it will be clear. Thank you. So then I will talk about some of the real world applications that will be used, and then I will show some of the hands-on demos so that you will get some idea like whatever we have developed from our group. So I will show two of them so that it will be more attractive to the audience. Then finally, I will talk about some of the challenges and best practices. So what are AI tools and what are AI frameworks? So before going into AI tools, so let's talk about what are actually tools. Okay, so for example, if I want to put a nail in the wall, then if I don't have a hammer, okay, so it is a bit difficult for me. Okay, I can use other things, but it is a bit difficult. If I have an hammer, then it is easy for me, okay, to put the nail into the wall. So similarly, there are AI tools also. When I have AI tools, then it is easy for me. It makes the life simple for the AI developers to focus on their developing their AI model instead of focusing more on AI tools and other things. So that's the main advantage of having AI tools. Okay. So when I have AI tools, what will happen? It will speed up the AI development because now I don't need to focus on anything else. I have the tools. I can use the tools to create my own model. So which saves me a lot of time. So simplify complex processes because as you know, without AI tools, you need to write like very large code. So which is even if you talk about in terms of edge AI, then it is very difficult with such kind of models. So when I have AI tools, then it will simplify the complex processes. Okay. Then on the other end, it will also scalable for enterprise needs. So for example, if I have a startup, then I don't have enough money to use any of the machine learning models which can be paid. There are also paid AI tools though. So then what I do is like, okay, I will go with some of the free available tools and then I will create my model. So when the prototype is working, then I know that I can attract the companies and they will pay me. Then what we do is like we expand that. Okay, we expand that to larger enterprise product-based things. Okay, so we don't need to write a separate one from the starting for the product, but since the prototype is working with AI, then definitely it will also work as an enterprise needs when it comes to product. So let's see a simple example wherein there is a developer like a researcher like us, and then he wants to work in one of these areas or multiple areas. Okay, using AI. So when he wants to use AI for these applications, then there will be different kind of AI tools. So depending on depending on his needs or needs, and depending on the application. So the AI tools varies. For example, sorry, you have any question? Yeah, sorry. So then,
Uh,
can I cannot hear.
I think by mistake he has. Okay, okay.
Okay, thanks. So then we have different machine learning frameworks such as TensorFlow, which we might have heard of much, and then PyTorch also, scikit-learn, then Spark ML, Torch, then Hugging Face and Keras. So each tool or framework has its own application. Okay, so depending on the application and depending on type of data we have, so we have to choose the particular AI tool. So why basically AI tools matters? Okay, so the first thing is democratization. So let's see what is democracy. So when I talk about democracy, that means like everyone has equal right. So India is a democratic country, so we have equal rights in India. Similarly, when it comes to AI, there are some tools that are free for usage, such that they are freely accessible for any of the researcher and developers. Okay, so that means it is equal. So it doesn't matter like who he is and what he is working on or she is working on. Okay, so then the second thing is enhanced productivity. So when I have pre-built models like mobile net, VCC, and so on, and application programming interfaces, then it will save a lot of time for me. And other thing is like collaboration. So when I say collaboration, so basically we have as a faculty or as a researchers, we have different collaborations. Okay, and when two people want to work on the same code, then it's very hard. Like okay, I have done this and I will send it to you, and then you check that and do that. So it is very difficult, right? So when there are shared libraries, okay, then it is easy for both of us to access the code and the libraries, okay, and then make the changes accordingly. So that is very easy for both of us. So that is another advantage of having AI tools. And then other part is the scalability, as I have already described. It is from the personal experiments like we guys. So we work on some prototype development or some kind of papers. So when it needs, maybe sometime it may leads to a particular kind of product. Then we can also go for enterprise scale solutions. Okay, with the same code, we just need to extend that. So that is the advantage of having AI tools. The other one is efficiency. So it will basically reduce the time from the kind of generation to the deployment by automating repetitive tasks. Okay, so for example, I have worked on certain amount of data. Okay, and so then I train the model, and then so when I want to use another data, which is of course it is a repetitive task because the data will be generated every time. Then it is more efficient because the model is already trained, so it doesn't matter for me. Like I don't need to train it again if it is the same data and same similar lines of data. Okay, so the other part is cost effectiveness. Why it is cost effective? As I mentioned, there are many open AI tools that are accessible to everyone, and which saves us the licensing costs. So let's talk about what are different categories of AI tools. One is core frameworks, data preparation, because sorry. First, when I want to work on AI, the first thing I need to have is data. That is the main important task. So when I need to prepare the data, then I should use some of the tools for preparing the data also. So tools like Pandas, NumPy, and Dusk can be used for data preparation. And once I have processed the data, so once I have processed the data and prepared the data for the model, then I need to have another frameworks. So for example, here it is TensorFlow, PyTorch, and Keras can be used for developing the actual machine learning models actually. But what is core framework is nothing but the actual machine learning models. When I say frameworks, it is model building and optimizing the model such that we can even reduce the size and in addition we can increase the accuracy of the model. Okay. So when I talk about data tools, it is cleaning the data. When I say cleaning the data, so data basically when you are collecting, there will be always noise. Okay. So when there is noise, I need to clean the data thoroughly such that the model performs very well with the data. And the second one is data feature engineering. So it is basically feature extraction from the data. So, okay, so till now we have talked about data processing tools as well as the machine learning model, like the core frameworks that can be used for developing the machine learning model. Next, what we should do? We should deploy the machine learning models into certain devices. Okay, certain GPUs or edge computing devices like our mobile phone, or we can say Raspberry Pi, or we can also use NVIDIA Jetson Javier. So when we want to deploy these AI models into these kind of like devices, then we need to also have certain tools which are called as TensorFlow, serving fast API, AWS, Swigum Maker. Then comes the visualization tools. Okay, so now everything is done, the model is running on the data, and I need to see how the model is actually performing, right? So when I need to see how the model is actually performing, then I need to go with certain tools, okay, so that I can plot the data, I can also plot the accuracy, I can also plot some other results as well, okay? So then what are the visualization tools? They are Matplotlib, then Seaborn and Plotly. And finally, these collaboration tools. Okay, so I have developed a model, and I also got some results, but as we know, the reviewer is not satisfied. Okay, and we are unsure what to do later. Okay, then we need to collaborate with others. Okay, so maybe they can help. They are experts in machine learning. They can help when they see look into your code. They might get an idea. So then I need to share okay the machine learning model with them as well as the data. Then I need to have some collaboration tools like Jupyter notebooks, then Google Colab as well as GitHub. Okay, these tools can be used for sharing. We can also call them as frameworks because they are frameworks which can be shared with other collaborators, and they can work parallelly. That is another advantage of using AI tools. Because if they cannot work parallelly, then it is very problem for both of them, because the first guy has to explain everything to the second guy, whatever he has done, and where he has faced the problem, and everything he has to explain to him, even though he explains for the first time, but whatever the changes or whatever he is making, he cannot see if there is no collaboration. So that's the main motive of having collaboration tools. So let's see a simple example wherein Google Colab we use for remote collaboration for model development, right? When I have Google Colab, and I can share with others who are having Gmail. So in this way, the collaboration plays a more leading role when it comes to AI development. So let's see some of the deep learning frameworks. I am not going in detail, but let's start with the first one, that is TensorFlow. So it is a comprehensive ecosystem for building AI applications. Yes. And also the TensorFlow, the advantage with this is that it is scalable to any extent. Okay, it is scalable to any extent, and it is flexible, and which can gives the motivation for using these for larger data sets. Okay, so then when I say it is a tool or it is a framework, okay, then I need to have something in the framework that works inside in order to make the machine learning model work as we expect. Okay, So what are the components that are there in TensorFlow or Keras, TensorFlow Lite, and TensorFlow.js. And the other one is distributed training for large data sets, because so nowadays the data is in terabytes. Okay, and if I want to use a single GPU or a single CPU, then it is it is not at all efficient. So then I need to have something that is distributed. Okay, so such that if I distribute the data over different parallel computing machines, then it will make me make the CPU or the GPU easy for processing the data. So because it gets only a fraction of the data from the large amount of data, and there will be no kill for the particular GPU or CPU. Okay, and then as I mentioned, so we developed a model using our laptop or desktops, and we cannot take them to outside environment. We cannot test them in real time. Okay, so for example, I'm monitoring that's a simple temperature, and at a particular space where there is no access for the battery or the power. Okay, then I cannot use my laptop because which drains very fast. Then the first thing what I need to do is like I need to reduce the model size, as well as I need to use certain devices that last long, okay, without replacing them. If they last long, then I can easily access the particular data that has been created, and I can take, the machine learning model can work on that, and it can generate certain decisions, okay, certain outputs, and then we can take the decision based on that. So that's why when it comes to the smaller devices, then we use TensorFlow Lite. The second one is TensorFlow.js. So if I want to run the models in the browser, for example, Google Chrome or any other browser, then I need to use TensorFlow.js. Okay, so even though we talk about a lot of things about the TensorFlow, let's see a simple example how actually we create a model. Okay, so a machine learning model, simple neural network using the TensorFlow. Okay, so first thing what I do is like I import TensorFlow. That is the main thing because I am working on TensorFlow framework. Okay, so I import TensorFlow as TF. Then the second line basically it is like, okay, I already have certain data, okay, which is publicly available in TensorFlow.keras, okay, and certain data sets. Then I'm calling one of the data set to test my model, okay. When I see the third line, it looks like it is an image data because before splitting the data into train and test, they have normalized the data. So they have divided the data with 255. So because we have the pixels. Is anyone? Oh, sorry, I thought it's from you. So it's so the range of image data, the pixels we can say are ranging from 0 to 255, right? So when I divide this with the 255, that means I can normalize the data from between 0 to 1. When I normalize the data between 0 to 1, what I am achieving, I am actually reducing the data size. So always remember when we are working with AI or ML, the main thing is like less memory. We always need to minimize the memory such that the kernel won't die. So that is the main requirement. Then we create a model. So we use tf.keras.models. Okay, so as I mentioned, Keras is also a subset of TensorFlow. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Just feel free to stop me anywhere. I'm a bit unwell because of my travel, so I'm sorry. And then, so what is the sequential? So I created a model, so which with only 4 layers. Okay, which when I say it's sequential, they apply the layers sequentially on the data. So the first layer I created is a flattened layer, followed by dense layer, and then dropout layer, and finally the dense layer. The most important thing is like whatever the hyperparameter for the last layer, which is dense layer 10. It is basically represents the number of classes, because ultimately we need to get some output corresponding to the number of classes, right? So that's why the last hyperparameter of dense layer is the number of classes. Okay. So then I created the model now. Now I need to compile the model. When I need to compile the model, I need to specify certain things, because when I actually say a machine learning model, what actually it is doing? So it is trying to minimize the loss. You agree? So when I need to minimize the loss, that means I am optimizing something. Then there should be an optimizer. Okay. So the optimizer here we are using Adam optimizer. And then we also need to define certain loss. So here we consider space categorical loss. And then how we evaluate the model performance is with accuracy. Okay. Now, so we have training data and test data. So what we have to do is, like, we need to train the model with the train data that we have. Okay. And then when we need to train the data, then we need to have certain number of epochs, because how many times the model will run on the data so that it will train perfectly. So then when I have, okay, the model is fit and with the training data, it is ready for testing. Now we will go with the model evaluation by using the test data. Okay, X test and Y test. Then the model will be, it will give the accuracy. Okay. And the second framework is PyTorch. So this is actually one of the widely used frameworks, because it works on dynamic computational graphs. It is very simple because it only uses Python. Okay, and then it has the strong support for nonlinear programming and computer vision applications. It also supports CUDA for GPU acceleration, then dynamic computation graphs for on-the-fly model changes. So it is basically like when the model changes on the fly, like when you are running, and then in the meantime the model is changing, then it will automatically generate dynamic computational graphs. Okay, so that it will actually capture the changes in the model. Okay, and then there is one more PyTorch version, which is Torch Vision for pre-trained computer vision models. Okay. So when we talk about what is PyTorch and what are its advantages, of course it is available everywhere. So let's see an example, and it will give more clarity on, okay, how actually a PyTorch framework works. So first thing, it is same as TensorFlow. Then we need to import Torch, so which is PyTorch. Then since I'm creating a neural network, I need to import the neural network. So here, import torch.nm as nm. Okay, define the neural network. Here I am creating actually the neural network. Oh, sorry. Here I am creating the neural network. So I used one convolution layer, then one pooling layer, which is a max pool, and then again the convolution layer, because it is also a sequence. And then a linear layer. So basically what is the purpose of this is that, so whatever the input that you give, so that will be normalized to the output. Okay, so for example, so make it simple, then I defined 120 by 84, so it will take 120 as input and then it will generate 84. Okay, and finally, okay, so finally I need to have only 10 values because I have only 10 classes. So that's why the final layer will be having 84, 10. So whatever the input that is 84 will be, it will generate 10 outputs corresponding to 10 classes. Okay. So then we need to forward the network for the training and testing. Then the first thing is we used whatever the pooling layer that we have, we used Reddy activation function with that on convolution layer 1. Okay, and then the second pooling is followed by the convolution layer 2 and Reddy activation function. And then we viewed the results, and then the x f dot redo self fc1. So basically here also we are using Reddy activation function for linear layer, the first linear layer, and then it is for the second linear layer. And for the third linear layer, there is nothing. There is no activation function used, and then the model will be returned. So this is simply how we create a machine learning a simple neural network using PyTorch. The other one is Keras, even though it is a part of PyTorch, but it is very easy to use this for high-level API for quick prototyping because it is very simple to use. So it will always be built on top of TensorFlow, focusing on ease of use. So since it is very easy, then it will be used mostly by the beginners and for its simplicity. Let's see how a model can be created using Keras. Then, so again, we used Keras.sequential. So remember, just you can find the difference between TensorFlow and Keras. It's like it's a part of TensorFlow, so that's why we used Keras.sequential. And then we have 4 layers. One is pattern layer, dense layer, one is pattern layer, and 3 dense layers. And then we need to compile the model using an optimizer, as well as loss function, as well as the metrics that can be used for evaluation. So here we use the optimizer as Adam and loss as binary called cross entropy, and metrics. So for the evaluation is accuracy. Then finally we need to fit the model on X-train and Y-train using the number of epochs and the base size. Okay, so these are 3 major deep learning frameworks. Okay, so let's see the difference between each of them. Okay, so when I have a certain task, okay, which model I should use? So that is the main question every one of us have, right? So when I talk about a feature which is dynamic graphs, so when I say dynamic graphs, obviously the thing that comes into mind is PyTorch. So okay, dynamic graphs are there in PyTorch. In TensorFlow, it is limited, but when it comes to Keras, there are no dynamic graphs. So then there comes the usability. It is moderate when it comes to TensorFlow, but PyTorch we mostly use it with only Python. And Keras, as I mentioned, all beginners will use user-friendly Keras. When I talk about ecosystem, it is TensorFlow can go to extensive, then it is PyTorch is moderate because it is a part of TensorFlow. It is also extensive. So it is ideal for production systems, research prototypes, and the final one is ideal for beginners. So since TensorFlow excels in production environment, so it will be mostly used when it comes to the product-based companies. Okay, so PyTorch debugging capabilities. So because it is easy for me to debug the errors, so most of us, like the researchers, we use the PyTorch. And then the third one is Keras is a great usage for the beginners. Okay, so it is very simple. So most of the beginners will consider using Keras. Till now we have seen and talked about deep learning frameworks. Let's see what are machine learning libraries or frameworks that are available, that are mostly used in recent times. The first one is scikit-learn, and second one is XGBoost, and third one is Light GBM. When I say scikit-learn, basically it will be useful. Okay, it is very simple because it will be useful for clustering when there is a need for clustering, regression, and classification. XGBoost basically it will be used mostly like competitive competitive environments. Like I think most of you have knowledge on Kaggle, which our students mostly use for and participate some of the competitions in Kaggle. So there basically we use XGBoost. And then Light GBM, it is scalable and fast for gradient boosting. So let's talk about nonlinear programming specific tools. So there are two tools. One is Hugging Face Transformers, and second one is Spacey. So when it comes to Hugging Face Transformers, they are pre-trained models like BERT, GPT-3, and T5. So these are the pre-trained models that will be used for generating, okay, the text and classifying the text and translating the text into other domain, okay, other languages, I can say. Okay, so that is the main uses of Hugging Face transformers. And then the second one is Spacey. It will be mostly used for linguistic processing and tokenization. So it is sorry, it is very fast and very efficient. Space is very efficient. So then, okay, when I say what are the use cases for these NLP specific tools, is that one is a chatbot, which we see almost in daily life, because everywhere when we open the chart, then the chatbot comes and it just says hi. So the use case is a chatbot, and second one is sentiment analysis, and third one is translation. Okay. And then there comes the computer vision tools. Sorry. So the computer vision tools are OpenCV, Detectron, and when it comes to OpenCV, so basically OpenCV is used for image manipulation and computer vision tasks. So when I want to analyze the videos in the real time, then basically we use OpenCV. And when I want to recognize facial pipelines, then also we use OpenCV tools. Then comes the detectron, which will be used for in autonomous vehicles in the application of image segmentation. So basically, when we see autonomous vehicles, they get a lot of data. So okay, a lot of image data also, because we also install certain number of cameras on top of that. Okay, so when we insert certain number of image cameras, and we generate large amount of data, then the image segmentation is one of the most crucial part. Okay, such that each data will have its unique features, and then it will be used for framework for object detection and segmentation. So when I say use cases, as I mentioned, it is autonomous vehicles, and second one is security, because we can process real-time video analysis using OpenCV. So because of that, we get the security. And the third one is medical imaging, because OpenCV is extensively used for image manipulation and computer vision tasks. So because of that, it has some of the use cases. Here I listed only 3. So how actually we can use these AI tools? So which is the best way to use the AI tools? So people usually recommend using virtual environments to manage dependencies. Also regularly update tools and libraries, test models and divert datasets to ensure fairness. Okay, because okay, I created a small amount of data, and then I tested my model on that, and it is performing very well. Okay, then I cannot say that okay, this is the best model, take it. No, because we need to test it on diverse data sets. Then only we can claim that okay, this can be used in real time, because it can work on a diverse amount of data. Okay, so that is the main. Just one sec. I just need to find. Just one sec. So, yeah. So then automate workflows with the pipelines. So what are the emerging trends in AI tools? So basically, initially we need to find out like which machine learning model works on our data and how to tune that. But now it has AI has emerged in such a way that there is AutoML developed by Google. So what you do is like if you give if you give the data to it selects the best model to fit the data, and also it helps in tuning the model also. So that is the main advantage of AutoML. Then there are also domain-specific frameworks. For example, when I want to work on the healthcare, the main thing that I need to use is a certain number of tools, which is BioBat, okay, for healthcare applications. So there are also a long chain, which is a multimodal AI tool, which can be used for text, image, and video integration. So we need to integrate these three, so that we can easily watch anything in a real time. We can feel. So these are the AI tools landscape. So when I talk about market dynamics, so it is ranging from open source tools, okay, which can be used by anyone, that is researchers or any academician or anyone for prototyping. Once we have prototype, then there will be proprietary platforms, okay, that can be used by enterprise scalability and support. So that means when the prototype is going from the prototype to product, then we need to basically use proprietary platforms that gives us more scalable, and they also support us. Key trends, when I talk about key trends, it is like when we adopt ML oops, okay, so then it will give us a seamless production efficiency, okay. And so if I have lightweight models, then they are very much useful for deploying on edge computing devices, okay. So that is the key trends that are leading now, because NVIDIA is more focusing on creating the edge computing devices when everyone is working on developing AI models, okay. So the AI models have to fit somewhere, so that's what it started releasing the products, lightweight edge computing devices, which can be used for deploying the lightweight models. Okay, when I need to develop lightweight models, and also I need to have lightweight tools, because lightweight tools means less memory size, which gives the motivation for deploying into the edge computing devices. So when I talk about the notable players, till now we have discussed about the notable players only, which every one of us knows, which is open source platforms or TensorFlow, PyTorch, Hugging Face, and proprietary players are, these are all we need to pay to access those tools. So yeah, so when it goes from prototyping to product, we can still pay, we can pay them good amount, because we get the good amount. So when it comes to proprietary, then AWS SageMaker, then Azure ML, and IBM Watson. The statistics has been predicted that by 2026, okay, the growth in AI market is projected to be $126 billion. So which is huge. So that means like till we have more scope on working on AI and ML. It has not been exhausted yet. So
You're finding difficult in taking because your health, I think.
I'm sorry, actually, because of my
So
travel.
you can brief about the remaining thing, and you can conclude. Otherwise,
Sure.
means if you find,
Sure.
if you are fine from your end, it's
Yeah,
fine.
I think.
Otherwise, you can conclude.
Okay, so then I will try my level best to deliver
Okay, okay, fine, fine.
something.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. So then comes advanced data preparation tools. Okay, so we'll see only a few tools that can be used for. So when it comes to data preparation, there will be many things that needs to be taken care. The first thing is data cleaning tools, engineering, which is data feature engineering, and data processing. When I want to use the tools for data cleaning, then we have open, refined, and great expectations. Then when it comes to feature engineering, then we have tools like feature tools and scikit-learn's pipeline for whatever the features that we generate and whatever the results that we generate, we can reproduce the results using scikit-learn's pipeline. When when I need to process big data, then I need to use Apache Spark and Dask for distributed computing. So, so when I talk about the example where we can actually use this data preparation tools is when I have Dask. Okay, so even the 10 terabytes of data can be processed using parallel processing using Dask. Okay, and then so once we have prepared the data, then we need to deploy the models uh, in the other platforms. So wherein if I talk about the platforms, they are AWS SagaMaker, which is and Google Vertex AI and Azure ML Studio. As I mentioned, these are all proprietary tools. So mostly we need to pay them to get the access. But everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So when I talk about containerization, so it is dividing into containers. Okay. So it will isolate we have Dockers which enables isolated environments, and Kubernetes orchestrates the scaling and load balancing. Okay. Then what are the major challenges when I want to deploy AI ecosystems? So the first thing is deployment latency, like how much time it takes for deploying the model, and second one is so since most of them are open sources, okay, then they update every day. So okay, you need to always take care of managing the versions of models. So once we have deployed the data, deployed the model and data, then we need to visualize the results. So when I want to visualize the results, there are certain tools such as Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly. So Matplotlib basically helps in static plots like histograms, bar charts. When you want to plot these, then basically we use Matplotlib. And when you want to plot Seaborn, sorry, when you want to plot statistical visualizations of the data, then you need to go for Seaborn. Then the third one is Plotly, so which is an interactive web-based visualization tool. Okay. So the best practices are so when we use dashboards for real-time metric update, then basically we use Streamlit and Dash. Match visualization complexity to audience also is very low. Okay, so that's the main advantage of using these visualization tools. Then, okay, so we developed and we got the results, but you want to collaborate with someone else. Then we need to have different frameworks that supports the collaboration. So as I discussed, there are Jupyter Notebook, Google Colab, and GitHub. So when I talk about Jupyter Notebooks, it is interactive development environment. When I talk about the Google Colab, even it is interactive, but it works on cloud with the GPU access. So GitHub, it is version control, and it also helps in team collaboration. I think can I stop now, or you need to process for some more time? Because I think mostly I covered from, because I am stopping here because I covered from the data processing till deploying and then the collaboration. So, and if I go further, then I need to extend for long. Oh, if it is fine, okay. Otherwise, I will continue further.
We'll stop here, sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
If you stop
Sorry
here,
for the.
if you want to show, you can share your email ID so that if
Sure. I can share it on chart. So this is my email. So feel free to contact me. I will definitely help you. I'm sorry for the sickness again.
Hello, sir. I think there is a network issue.
Yeah,
Sir's network.
yeah, because the,
Is okay. Is there
power came back
any?
now. Okay, fine. Okay, so
Is it fine now?
you completed, sir, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So, on the behalf of organizing committee, I would like to sincerely thank Professor Shrinivasa Yeduri to accept our invitation and enlightening the last session of the day on the various tools and platforms available for the machine learning and generative AI. Your expertise and insights have greatly enriched our understanding and inspired the participants of this 6-day online faculty development program. Thank you very much, sir, for joining. And although your, I think, health is not so good, you have delivered the
Yeah,
lectures.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that completely.
Fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So, Manoj, sir, if you want to give some instructions to the candidates, you can give, because this is the last, this was the last session, and I think now we will have the test
Okay, sir.
from
Okay.
5:30,
So all
from 6:30 to 7:30, no?
6:30 to 7:30.
6:30 to 7:30.
Yes, sir. Okay, I will share the details on the WhatsApp group.
You please share the details on the WhatsApp group. Everybody, please go through your WhatsApp group. The instructions the Manoj sir is sending there, and you have to give your test within that time frame only, 30 to 7:30, and the minimum 70% marks are expected to get eligible for the certification.
Hello, all participants, please note that this exam will be conducted on the FDP portal. So you have to use your login ID and password of ATAL portal. Okay, so thank you.
One more thing, I would like to invite everybody for the valedictory session.